Work for the first time in my life. I'm sorry.
We're ready. Catch your breath.
Turn this on. Again, thank you to each and every one of y'all. And I beg your indulgence. I got tied up. I knew I would be, and there you go. Mr. Butler cannot be here today, but let's get this meeting started. Of Tuesday, November the 21st at 10:12. We're a few minutes late to the public. We have some public out there.
Yes.
Since the meeting is now open, I will entertain comments from the public.
I see no comments.
If no one is commenting, then we're going to go on and start with consent agenda item 1. That's approval of the minutes of October the 17th and receive the harbor and accept the harbor master's report as presented at our last meeting. So by Mike, seconded by Sue Traylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays, motion carries. Move on to the finance reports, A through F, tariff report, account aging, payment, revenue and expenditure, balance sheet, profit, and loss cash flow report. Good morning and welcome, if you would.
On page 23, let's make a small correction. That's 65 per ton on the right-hand column. And let's just correct that to make sure it's 79 at the top, but don't have a conflict there. It says total tariff amount paid at 65, that should be 79.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a typo.
Let's move on then to the tariff report. Excuse me, account agent report.
Yes, the Terry Cox thing is just gonna eventually roll off.
That, I'll give you a little bit of an update. You know, we sent the third letter.
Mhm.
The letter, when it's on its way back to us. And it's in the system somewhere. I did ask Rachel about it. I think she requested. I don't remember exactly what she called it. I mean, as soon as we can get that letter, we can proceed with. Kind of, selling the.
I'll send it all.
Well, it might be quicker to do that. I don't know. So I mean, it's been lost for over a month.
Do we send another letter?
Yes.
If it's call them, tell them they can get home, they'll hopefully they want to just send it easily.
It may be gone forever. I would submit another letter and let's get this thing buttoned up. Getting way out there. We need to try to move forward. That would be my suggestion.
Mhm. I guess Madden has just kind of gone away or,
I think we've sent that to collections.
okay,
It's in Palacios, I think that.
so you got a boat over there?
We took both over there. Both he had here, he went over there with.
You might talk to Martinez and just see.
Well, it's at it's not a county, it's it's at that Serendipity.
That belongs to city,
No, I think it belongs to,
used to belong to city, maybe they sold it out to the.
yeah, well, the guy, he had a place here,
Mhm.
sold all those RV parks and all that.
Doug Jensen, we had it.
Yes, yes, and I'm not sure who owns it, but the guys, he and I spoke, his name is. His last name is actually Cox. I can't remember what his first name.
Not the other, or is it?
What's that, I'm sorry?
Not the same Cox that we've got down here.
Is that different?
I think we maintain a security interest in those boats that were here.
What's that, I'm sorry.
I think we maintain a security interest, which means we can go get them.
Well,
Once you file, go through the suits and all the rest of the stuff, and that asset will be there. And you can get it attached and then go pick it up.
right. And I fixed, well, I'll tell you what, the other thing I'm doing, haven't found it yet, but I'm looking for some, locks for the day room, both gates on, A dock and B dock that are Bluetooth. So instead of having this, everybody will have a different code, so if we wanna lock somebody out, all we have to do is go in there. Lock them out of the facility. But I haven't found any, and they're not really,
I use the Schleg and they're about $175 and they maintain 100 different codes. But you can, have an app to change them if you want to, so it's called a Schleg Encode, ENC,
in code.
ENCODE. And also mine is fixed so it automatically relocks after 60 seconds. So, have a housekeeper walking in and out and all the time and she's
Right.
leaving the house open.
Right.
That's no longer. Okay, so it's expensive, but they work.
Well, we're to the point that we're already having problems with one of the locks down there now, and those locks are a couple $100.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I think the big thing for us, stay on top of and not let them get so far ahead of us. They were being overly kind and overly generous. That's. Just comes back to bite us when we do. Try to accommodate some people. Let's move on then to the.
Now, Bloodworks is gonna stay there indefinitely. Is that the current? You don't have any idea?
Well, I mean, until they,
He's still, they're trying to sell it.
yeah, they have issues, there's issues there, because I think we talked about it here last meeting.
As long as he pays, I mean,
Yeah, no.
they pay, I mean,
There's three owners. They've got a mechanics lien on part of it,
yeah.
and so now the other two owners are saying they don't have a lien, so now they're. It's kind of a mess.
They have been paying though, haven't they?
Yeah,
They pay like slot machine.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, they're a big company, and they're in business.
I think they believe they're gonna get paid back once this all gets.
Yeah, I think he said it that'll come off the top.
Yeah, the assets worth more than they've. I can guarantee you.
We were to sell.
Let's move on to the payment report.
Guess I'm still curious about the electric bill at the Harbor Refuge.
Yeah, I have one of our towns, she's reconciling the electricity to make sure that all the meters for Port Commission are where they need to be at. I think that there might have been some confusion when we did that whole deal where we had like 6 meters and we went down to 2.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think that there might be some confusion with that, so I'm just having her reconcile the whole thing just to make sure that everything is going where it needs to go.
My concern on that, because it is, exceeding our marina, is are we servicing somebody surreptitiously?
I don't think so. From what I just looked at on the spreadsheet that she showed me is, I see, weirdly enough, this Harbor Refuge floodlight, we were only paying a certain dollar amount and then it just kind of jumped.
So is that it, or remember, we just had to pay money for the now. Is that included in that?
But no, that's not included in that, because that would be going to a different account.
Okay.
So there's something going on, in my opinion, with this Harbor Refuge floodlight, and I just want to make sure that we actually figure it out, because it went from 0 to then all of a sudden weirdly it
That's
jumped.
what I said.
It's consistently what, like $500?
Yeah, it was a fixed fee.
But there was another account that we were paying for, and then all of a sudden we're not paying for it anymore.
People are bringing their Teslas down there in the evenings or something. I mean, something's going on. That's a considerable jump on 1,000, about 800.
Anticipating to be less than it was previously because they changed lights out.
I don't know, that's why.
They're gonna get their money regardless.
Because. It's something's happening with it, but I really think it has something to do with us going from 6 meters to like. The 2 or something with the AT, it's not anything. So she's reconciling it, and I really think that by the next meeting in December, I think she will have it figured out.
It may be worth reaching out to Ms. Strauss and isolating those individual floodlights. Because like I said, it jumped up substantially. I'm just wondering if we're not, everybody, they found a plug or a way to hook up and their welding machines are running or something. I don't know. No idea.
No, that's true too. Yeah, I'll get with Ms. Strauss then.
So so that's the actual bill for that. That's not just what we've added up for that.
That wasn't part of that fee that we had, because how much was it? Wasn't it like $1,000, $1,500?
Well, that's what I was saying, but saying no, it was, yeah, because it was.
Are we running the gun range?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that goes to, I think that goes to PD actually.
Just looking at leaks,
So I mean, we look at the spreadsheet, and it's 500, 500, 500, and then all of a sudden it's. Spreadsheet.
No,
That happened.
it was steady, and then weirdly enough, it was around July, it went boom. So that's around there.
We upgraded.
Yeah, well, that's what, around that time is whenever we
I don't
were
think
getting
they
that
got
meter
it
turned
right
out. They haven't done it.
Haven't upgraded yet.
They have this.
It's all.
Say it's money.
The whole, you going, I don't know what you, I don't remember, you told me you went from like 6 to 2. You
Yeah, but that was-
consolidated your meters.
But that was at,
Oh, that's
the
a
way
different location.
it's not.
If you would reach out to Ms. Strauss and see what, maybe get Jim and her together and one of their poll people and see what we can isolate or figure out. At least we're aware of it.
Who's the energy provider?
Jackson.
Do we have just one rate for all city-owned?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying, what happened to me is that I didn't renew at the office and I just got busy. And so when that contract came up for renewal, it went from month to month and it tripled the price. I got my electricity bill like, whoa, hey,
Got your.
I need to call them.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things, because I had no idea, I've never fooled this, I'm, we live in the country, we're probably for like a car. I mean,
And so they should have it broken down by how many kilowatt hours associated with that ESID
Yes,
number they do.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I would look at and see what the,
And our invoices pages long.
I can imagine.
It's massive, yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to go through it.
Right, hey, it's their $40
Yeah.
each,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
you gotta go to them, let them know about the meter, and it's kind of a confusing thing, you know, when you.
We used to be so simple back in the day, you just
Yeah.
go to the local office and say,
All right, we'll move on then. Let's look at revenue and expenditures report. What are we telling us on that? You've got three on the actual budget on page 47, and you got three on page 38. Non-departmental, what are we,
Of the three,
what is that highlighting?
the three is just to tie, to make sure that. The port commission snapshot, that Excel spreadsheet matches what we actually have in code, yeah.
And this is the start of our new fiscal year.
Yes.
Move on to our balance sheet, please.
When is that privilege payment due?
February 15th. 75. Actually, I think it's about 220. Yeah, in August. We'll get it out.
Let's pay twice a year.
Totals 257, 561 for the year.
On to the profit and loss cash flow.
The survey on page 55 that was done by Urban. Who is that? What is that? Jim, do you know that?
Yes, remember that's what the port commission wanted to go ahead and have a survey for the that D restriction.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Remember that. Okay.
And honestly, that is a very good price, guys. It really is. I was thinking it was gonna be a whole lot more than that.
You haven't gotten that yet?
Yes, and it's been, deed restriction's been filed and, CRG is sending us the he was received.
We were gonna get an analysis of the overhead allocations, and I guess we haven't got that yet. Would you please, for next meeting, give us an analysis of the overhead allocation in each one of them? I'm sure it'll be obvious when we get it, and I just don't remember exactly what it is. It may be the most, that's Jim's salary. Oh, for sure. One other thing before we leave, I forgot to check the water bill, $1,500 again this month. There is absolutely no way they can use $1,500 worth of water over at that
I know.
nautical annex. No way. That's approximately,
Remember, I think I mentioned it in here, I don't, excuse me, not sure, but I went back. I investigated a little bit, made some phone calls to the one tenant out of San Antonio. And, you know, he had 2 water hoses going to his boat, and I think what he was doing is the cooling system for his air conditioner.
it was running off the city water, running off our water.
Exactly, instead of running off of the, I don't know if he had a bad pump, you know, for the cool, I don't know what happened, but I brought it to his attention and it all straightened out because we kept watching it on the, I don't know what the city calls that. Centrix. And it all of a sudden, you know, cause I looked and looked and looked for water, could not find water anywhere. And then that kind of stuck out, you know, when I saw the 2 water hoses going to that boat. And
When that tenant came into town,
Sorry?
our water meter jumped up.
No, well, what had happened was. You know, it showed big usage like a water leak. They left, it dropped down. They were gone for about a week, they came back and it jumped back up, and so. I called and I said, hey, are y'all some kind of way got your. Air conditioning cooling system tied into, the fresh water? No, I don't think so, but we'll check. Well, he came down. I don't know, maybe Thursday of that week, and all of a sudden. The usage went dropped back down. So, I mean, and see that Centrix deal, it's not a real time, it's like. If you look at it, that program, I think.
It's a day.
I think it's a day. I
A
mean.
day, it's about
like a day
24-hour
right now.
delay in that system. But it definitely fell off, and, you know, since I brought it to his attention, none of that's happening.
Well, you should just go over to the city department and look at the utility person and then say, please put a flag on that account. And tell us when it's running high.
Well,
But she-
Karen does a pretty good.
Karen does a
Stand on
good
top
job.
No, I know she does, just tell her,
Karen
hey,
does a
Karen,
good job
that's fine.
monitoring.
You know, she was doing it for me when I had a big leak.
Yeah, we just didn't know what was causing.
No, exactly.
We knew it was using it, but we didn't know why.
I guess the question comes back is why are we paying for it? I mean. Makes no sense. That's still, it's a lot of water, even if we had a, water hose running full time. That's about 300 gallons an hour.
I'm trying to remember what she told me it was.
Anyway,
It was.
we're talking enough, that's enough, but that bill should be $250 a month max. Unless somebody is using it like that guy. And we ought to be back charging
What
it.
is the normal bill?
Don't even.
Well, my bill's $200, so,
Usually
but that's about 5,000 gallons.
But it's, yeah, certainly not that.
It's not that much, I know, but I have to go look. back.
Yeah, y'all are aware of it, staying on top of it.
Well, it's $1,500 last month on the summary.
We'll move on.
But I can get Karen to actually flag that specific account to where she'll get the emails, because
Oh, if it goes.
it does just for that specific
one,
Right.
especially running such a good monitor.
You can't really go after the tenants because we're not metering the water of each individual boat stall.
I'm gonna tell you what, when I used to do that, I got charged for it.
Yeah, but you had a meter. This is.
No, I didn't. They said, go by and stay running. They just hit me a bill, which would be $400-500 a month. I stopped it pretty quick.
Surcharge.
Quit wasting water.
Yeah, well,
All
it's not
right,
that.
we're gonna
They got-
move on to agenda item
Don't really
four.
get their attention.
Receive status report. Renovation of nautical landings, marina breakwater.
Matt is on here. I don't know if you've got any latest and greatest updates. Being y'all
Good.
in the packet, the latest email that I got, that we got from Parks and Wildlife. I did reach out to Robin, asking for an update last week. She never responded. I did forward that email to Senator Colfort's office and asked them, what can you guys do to put a fire under somebody? This has been taken. That's where, I don't know, Matt, have you heard anything?
I just got an email. I guess you can hear me. I just got an email this morning from Robin, said that she would check on it. I had
Okay,
responded again to my email that I had sent November the 8th. So
that's where we're at.
No.
Anyway, you wonder how we function in the state.
Yeah.
I know.
Agenda item B, the resiliency project, CDB and MIT.
We do have, in your packet, the latest monthly progress report. I think Mont McDonald was anticipating, having their meeting, the core in November. As far as I've been told, that has not been scheduled yet, so I don't think it's gonna happen in November. So it should be in December sometime, but this is the latest I've got as far as updates. And we did meet, Raymond and I did meet with them again at the last meeting and kind of went over, the different ideas and concerns with the position of the breakwater and all that's being taken into consideration when they talk to the board. So that's the next step.
Agenda item C, the restore project restoration.
Good news. Finally got I think actually I reported last meeting that I just gotten it in an email, the contract. So that contract has in fact been signed now and sent back. So we're in the wait mode again. We've signed it. Then the state has to sign it and the people to execute.
Yes, indeed.
So it's moving. At the end of it. Yes, that's part.
That's all we're waiting on, the final.
Once it's fully executed, I mean, said that she'll tell me next steps, but. I mean, I would assume next step would be, we go ahead and put together the bid package to get it done.
Need to be, because this is taking time, we need to be preparing for the cleanup of that property once they turn it back to us. And the application necessary to move forward with that, so we can do something with that property.
Well, this is the barge room.
I'm sorry?
This is the barge room.
No stuff out in front of Smith Farm.
Yeah,
It's, out in front.
yes.
Well, they've been there 75 years. Why not just take another month or two?
Yeah.
Maybe not 75, but 50 anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Mr. Bowers Monument.
That goes all the way back to the early days of Delibrio, I believe that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, the
Restoration.
We got that, 2018, I think, 17 or 18, yes, it's just been. Taking forever.
Is that same lady still kind of in charge of that grant? Remember she was retired from the general land office or something?
No, she's helping us with it.
Oh,
Yeah, she will be our consultant.
oh, okay. She lives here in town, right?
move on to the limited environmental assessment at the Harbor of Refuge.
What, you don't want to hear about the culvert replacement project?
I'm sorry?
The culvert replacement project?
Yes,
Yes.
Well, you had on the communication, you had A and a B.
Well, there's A, B, C, D. I mean, there was no backup for C or D.
All right,
That's on the agenda.
let's talk about the culvert project then.
Yeah, the replacement project, I think I sent an email out to everybody. The council did, vote to award the lower of the two options, the 12 gauge helical pipe to Lester Contracting, contingent upon Helena paying for everything above $300,000 the city has already budgeted. I reached out to Helena, let them know that. And, you know, we'd already talked that such action, you know, they would need to escalate that up into their, you know, into higher up in Helena. I talked to him yesterday, because I hadn't heard from him. And he said that the people that he needed to talk with had previous commitments for other acquisitions and other things going on that he was not able to pull them away from last week. He was optimistic that they would be meeting again before Thursday of this week. As soon as he couldn't do anything until he made notification for these people what was going on. And then get the dialogue started, you know, internally with them. So I again gone to Lester and they've agreed to hold the bid till December 4th, even the 13th if need be. But at this point, we postponed the meeting till December 4th. Hopefully by that time, they'll give us another week to have something to present to council as far as any kind of a, you know, an agreement of what Helene will pay for any sort of reimbursement over years, perhaps, or any, you know, any other contingencies upon their or stipulations paying for the project. And then we'll see if it's something that council will approve or not.
well, the city council put a deadline on them, right? So,
Well, right now, the deadline would be December 4th. And they
but they
have-
put it in the resolution.
Pardon?
I thought I read the minutes and thought they put in the minutes that here's a deadline that has to be approved and we're gonna go elsewhere. Wait for the grant.
Well, yeah, I mean, we are gonna be waiting for the grant, but there's nothing's gonna happen on the grant till.
I understand all of the above.
Yeah,
But
but
we-
again, right now, you know, the project has been awarded with that contingency. And we don't have any information on it.
Sounds like progress.
Well, again, I say, as the city agreed to pay 300 and they're gonna pay the rest of it. If they're not gonna do it, then I guess we'll wait.
And we
Yeah.
don't know that they're not gonna do it yet, so.
Yeah.
That's
But I thought that we put a deadline on them to hey, give us an answer so we can go about our business.
One deadline is the bid. Because the bid.
Right, and the bid is, I mean, the Lester had agreed to hold it until the 27th. They now agreed to hold it to the 4th. Because honestly, I think when we agreed to the 27th, or was not thinking about 27th, nobody was realizing that, you know, this week is basically a wash with Thanksgiving.
What encumberment do we face if we go ahead and seek the grant?
We have already done that.
Okay, so it's in the process just in case
I mean,
to back up,
we have made application. for
Okay.
that project. Done deal.
because if Honda decides, oh, we can only do 50 or 100, 200,000.
We've already made application. If for some reason, the project moves forward without the grant, no big deal, we just
Yeah.
won't do that as part of the grant.
Yeah.
I will
Yes.
need money to spend elsewhere in the corporation ditch.
My concern is losing the spur, losing that railway. That's,
And I mean, and we could be looking at not having it for a year or two. We'll just have to wait.
All right.
But yeah, it's
Looking at all options.
correct.
All right.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Alex, I guess, yeah, I jumped the.
I don't do that anymore.
Phase two, limited phase two environmental, we'd already mentioned that, but yeah, the deed restriction for that one has been completed and filed at the courthouse and being sent to TC. That was item D.
That's agenda, sub-agenda item B on that?
Correct.
Okay, and my remark about that was just, we need to have Jim aware of that and begin focusing on cleaning up and spraying and doing what necessary to make that property accessible and presentable. You know, and they've gotten a little rangy out there again. I thought they were coming, was the lemon brush people.
They couldn't get here in November, so they're trying to get here in December.
Okay, I was out there the other day and it was gonna be quite a mess, and I thought, well, they're supposed to be in here. I thought in September.
Alcoas, they're ready for it. Sure. I heard Kevin Franklin.
Yeah. It would really help us if they would, so that Alcoa could help us out, just again, keep the property looking best possible. Move on then to agenda item 5. Status report regarding the restoration project at Harbor of Refuge.
Okay, this is the one we applied to the CDBG mitigation round 2 to use those funds, the CDBG mitigation round 2 funds. And all that's been, the application's complete. So we won't hear anything probably until, I'm guessing, February or March.
6 months.
Yeah.
All right. And
I mean, it's similar, it's on the same timetable as the culvert.
it doubles back again on agenda item B. We mentioned the limited phase, environmental phase assessment at the Harbor of Refuge. You say we are free and clear with that one?
Yes. Well, yes, that's the one that they're sending the deed restriction. So I might have got my projects mixed up, but yes, this one is the phase 2 environmental site assessment. And the deed restriction was completed, filed at the courthouse, and CRG is sent.
All right. Move on then to agenda item 6, receive Harbor Master's Operation Promotion Development Activities Report. Mr. Rudolph.
Right. Steve Hall, I talked to Graham Halili last week. They're gonna need a new lease for that track 10 in City Harbor. And he mentioned to me that they might want track 9 and 9A. So I haven't got back with him yet.
Now, one thing, on the currently, they are only leasing 330 feet.
Yeah, they don't have that whole long wall there.
And so, I looked at what the recommendation from Valbridge would be, and what they're currently paying, $1,213.66 a month for 330 feet. That is greater than the prorated amount that Valbridge is giving. However, for the entire full set 476 feet, they should be paying $1,667. So I think part of the question is Port Commission okay with just leasing them 330 feet, but track 10? And then we can, maybe look, I mean, they're already paying more than what Valbridge is recommending, so we could look at perhaps MCI increase to get started for a new lease.
I did mention to him about the track 10 at Harbor Refuge. And we've kind of talked about it some, that at some point, if we ever get some grant money, move them over to that track 9 and 9A. And I said, if you do lease that property, if we can work something out, I said, you know, I told them that, that would probably be in that lease, you know. And I said, of course, y'all could, you know, once we got a new bulkhead in, if we ever get to that point, y'all could, come back and lease it. I just don't know that y'all are gonna wanna pay for what it's gonna take to, you know, for that new bulkhead.
They will need all of 9 and 9A and a little bit of the, because they have a lot of boats. They put like 12 boats, 12, 15 boats down there at track 10.
Right. So I don't know,
What is the mid, what should we do as a city on that property? We should decide what we want to lease to them. And then make that up and then say, here's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna, talking to them particularly. If we want to move them, let's move them.
I don't think we're quite ready yet, though.
yeah, I just thought that maybe that language ought to be in that, if we did lease it to them, you know,
But you wouldn't want to give them an option to do that. You'd want to, they, it comes along later, they want to move, then they would have to negotiate that in addition to their lease. We don't want to tie ourselves down indefinitely. Right now, they're paying just the $4, $3.50. Is that right, Jody?
They're paying, what are they?
300 and how many?
They're paying $1,213.66 for 330 feet.
that's the reason.
It's almost about $4, which I think is the list price for it now.
Well, it's what is it, $20,000 a year. Let's see, divided by 12, divided by 476. Yeah, $3.50 a foot.
Well, does our new rates say $4?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's what Valbridge had, was $3.50.
Well, that's what we're charging Helena now, so.
It's a different facility also, though. Talking about a multi-million-dollar bulkhead as opposed to the city harbor. Go ahead and prepare a presentation that we can analyze and make an informed decision on that, Jody. I would love to see Prestige get that. It's been laying fallow for quite some time. We've missed out on
Okay,
thousands of dollars. And just put a per linear foot plus land charge on it. I think that would give us a good option.
I mean, and just for discussion, I'm thinking for the future for grant opportunities for the Harbor Refuge. I mean, I'm thinking our best opportunity would be another EDA grant or something, you know, tied to economic development. But in that case, then we've got to have somebody that, whether that's Prestige there, and we're arguing that they need the dock to make improvements to their business and add, you know, employees and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Or we move them and somebody else comes in with that same market. But that's the argument we have to be able to make is we need this to increase jobs.
We have to have a tenant, a wanting tenant, you know, to make the improvement, or we need to improve for the existing tenant. And
Right.
we'd be hard pressed to put in a $3 or $4 million bulkhead for oyster boats. I don't believe the EDA people would.
I mean, it depends on how many, you know, the argument you make.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, the,
Jobs if there are more jobs.
That's it.
That's got 4 jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but-
Now we got 13 boats.
but the argument was a little different with Helena because
Yes.
we were able to argue they are going to wait entirely if we don't do the dock. That was the argument we made. And recall that where Prestige is now, track 2 of Harbor Refuge, that was built with a grant specifically for oyster boats. So it can be done. It's just,
If you will, you know, get us an informed presentation for our next meeting, because we do need to do something. Again, that track 9 and that has been laying fallow for way too long. Missed out on thousands of dollars. Didn't mean to bog down. Go ahead, Jim.
B, nautical landings building, I think Barefoot Construction is just about completed that scope of work. I need to get with, Derek, but I think it's about done. I can tell you that we had another, leak in the roof, all the building, and we got up there and it's the, one of those small cupolas.
Not the one we just put up.
No, that's the big with the lighting. The one on the south end, it's all right.
Did we budget something for that? Did we budget money for repair and replacement, not just maintenance on that roof?
Dollars.
There's a total 80, that wasn't.
Really specific. I mean,
There's several repairs in there.
some roof repairs, but yeah, we didn't really look at any of that.
So we may have to do that first and see what's left. I mean, in the 80,000 was supposed to be replacing the south doors. South end doors and the lights and some roof repairs.
Well, the roof leak takes priority over the parking lot, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
The parking lot needs to be done, but the roof leak is a priority. You might look at that and begin to,
Well, we already had something drawn up. You know, I'm Mark and Derek they've been talking about that. You know, as far as building a new cupola.
roof repairs are a priority. That's not even a think about. Do we need to make a motion for you to move forward?
No, I mean, we don't have any quotes or anything yet.
I mean, it showed up, the leak showed up maybe on the third day. You know, if you remember, it started raining, like Thursday evening? And it went raining all weekend. Like the second or third day that the leak showed up. It's not.
So it's not just a leak, it's dry rotted though?
Yes, it's dry rotted, yes.
Need,
I was got metal build one out of fiberglass and this and that.
I mean, we're working on it.
okay, just don't let that drag. I noticed the other day you had a bunch of lights burned out. Have you replaced them? I noticed the Christmas lights and the decorations going up. Sir?
I'll be done with that today. We had the lights on for about last week, I guess. Kind of letting them run to see if we're gonna have some.
You burned out several strings from my, my watching them. You got enough lights or do we need to?
We have plenty of lights.
Okay.
I think I still have 4 or 5 boxes left.
The Christmas parade and Christmas time for us, puts the face of the city out there, so it needs to look good.
We got some pretty nice bulbs in that cupola too.
Yes, yes.
Hanging in and out.
Well, as Mott McDonald does their work, we're moving forward. We need to focus on and make that quote unquote a centerpiece for us, in my opinion. Move on then to agenda item C.
Okay, nautical landings marina, abandoned boat. Actually, there's a couple feet behind. Nice, if they would just take it to get it out.
All right.
Horizon Environmental, they've been there 15 times since the last meeting. In fact, they were there this morning, so I don't know. I guess.
And they're not,
I don't know how many.
Any idea where they're washing from?
they're not from Moses. They're not from
Those
Moses.
have been there for 1,000 years.
They
bubbling up.
continue uncovering pockets of them that have been there for a long time, maybe from the time Formosa got started up.
I can tell you that,
It was pretty shabby at that time.
they come to the marina, they have a little work, like a 24, 25 foot work boat. And they leased dock from us probably 3 times now, and they came in Thursday of last week and worked through the weekend. And they were doing core samples.
We're getting ready for.
And what he told me they were doing, they'd go down to the bottom and they'd push in 5 feet. And they were sending the samples to A&M. And they're looking for pellets.
The strata.
They're looking for the fellas.
They continue to find pellets in spots, but they're obviously been covered up for a long time, so that's the
kind of
reason.
like Alcoa and their problem. Been there for
It
years.
just never go away unless they do like the Cox's Creek, which is totally. Take it
Move
down
on to
to,
agenda item D, Smith Harbor.
Smith Harbor, okay, Jody, she submitted the application. To Matador Bay Litigation Trust, and that was for. Project we wanted at Smith Harbor.
Improvements, walkway and locating, whatever.
Yeah, and parking.
And I think that's gonna include. If she gets all the money. That we hope to get, that's gonna include some of the. Work in the parking lot, back to the Nautical Landing's building, as well. So.
Any idea on a timeline on that? Or they just kind of?
We affirm right after the first of the year, so I'm hopeful no one or another thing. And again, this is, if we get it, the first thing we gotta get is permit, so we're gonna hurry up. Make application for a permit and then wait for a while.
Agenda item E, Harbor of Refuge. You had 5 items under there, Jim.
Yeah, well, LCI, they've been continuing to haul material out there. I'm sure they have it in the last week or so, but it's pretty wet. Encore, they still have a little bit of, they don't really have any equipment there, they just have. Some trash to pick up, things of this nature.
That's what I was addressing a while ago, because I was out there about 3 weeks ago, right before we got all this serious rain. And the place looked kind of messy, not just encores, but also the brush piles. And was wanting you to look at that and address it the best way the city can. Go ahead.
Of course, the railroad culvert replacement, we already talked about it. Spoke to Henry Spore with Manson. Sent the demand letter. I don't think we've heard anything back. I haven't. I actually tried to call him here a couple of weeks ago. So it's on the dredge pipe. They were trying to sell it, so.
Did you talk any more to Encore, whether they were serious about getting it?
They, the conversation I had with them. They don't really need it. If it's a pretty good bargain, they will buy it. But it's not something they really can use because it's a different size pipe altogether, so.
Is that something we can move towards since it is obstructing our waterway? Is there something we can do civil through a justice of the peace on this? File a citation, and if they're not responding to the demand letter?
I
I've been
think
doing
that-
this for a year.
Honestly, I think the first thing we would need. We need something from Encore telling us that it is impeding their use of what they're leasing. Because we haven't been, we're getting full benefit of, Encore's fully paying for it. So they haven't officially complained or anything, so I think that would be, would be the first step for us to try to take any action would be.
It's an obstruction of the waterway if it's not at least, causing unquote problems.
So there, they went and pushed it up, tied onto it and set anchors, so it's not floating out in the middle of the harbor and all that. Like it was previously. It's off to the side out of the way, the biggest thing is, if they need that shoreline, they can't use it because pipes all along there.
Yeah, I think the first, I just need Encore tell one way or another, for sure they are not gonna want it, then we can go on it, we can get it in.
And that's going to be, talking about justice of peace, that's going to be different. That's going to be over here at Mr. Gio's rather than Ms. Demark, right?
I don't know.
You might be looking at that in preparation. Move on to agenda 5.
We've talked about that as soon as we get. Them out there completely, we'll get on this brush frame.
Mr. Butler's not here today, so we'll pass on the to-do list.
Well, let me ask a question, because where are we on the liver boards? Did the council approve no liver boards?
No. We
Did
had,
they put it off? Did they decide not to do it?
we had a workshop and they, actually, but that's what I'm gonna talk about, but they asked us, to look at, maybe beefing up some of, the rules that we've got for nautical landings. So my thought was we would do that, bring it to y'all today for any comment, and then put down the December 13th agenda along with, the proposal to it's only been addressed in a workshop setting, which, as you know, we can't vote in workshop settings.
Well, our recommendation, which we made,
Yeah.
at least last time, is that we do not want liver boards.
I
It's the
understand.
second or third time we voted on
The
it.
question is the council,
Well, the council is not allowed to take action in a workshop.
understand that,
On December 13th, it will be an action item for their consideration.
so it will be the recommendation again, that from us, no liver boards.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we gonna dismiss this meeting here by the time.
Let's move on then to, agenda item 7. It's good.
If you look in your packet, you'll feel, article 80. Items that are highlighted, yellow, red print, those are the things we just added.
Let me tell you what, as a city-owned marine property, they cannot bar firearms. That is against the law. State will not allow, only private property owners, and we're not. City falls in where they cannot post any of the, except courts. Everything else is open to carrying up as concealed or open. So I just say take and move that out of there. No sense. I'll tell you, you lose that every single time.
Well, I'll tell you where that came from. That came from,
Exactly where it came. I don't like the people down there having guns, but
it came from several other marinas, is where that came from. But I went back and looked at some stuff, some rules from other marinas, and that was one of the things that they had.
For the other marinas in Texas.
Yes, they weren't those first ones.
it is specific in the gun carry law that the city, no city can bar the carry of guns on any place except courts. Legal carry. So I just say, just take it out. I mean, if you get the problem, you call the police. And the police, if they're on, they would probably be able to take care of it.
In that, we did look to the back to this number, up to number 3. The background check. Because I was a little concerned with it, but it's a very minimal fee. It's like $10. So that shouldn't be a problem. Of course, the references. And that's probably something we should have been doing. We've been asking a question and, we never had any writing. Number 15, I just see where I put responsibility for children, which I probably didn't need to put that, but I did. 16, leasing.
Dubo, is there any restriction on number of guests they can have out
That's a
there?
good question.
Because I think we should put a limit on that. It is just because I was looking at a place up in Houston and with the pool area, and then the property management said really fast, you're limited to 2 guests per occupant. So for 2 people who are on the lease for the apartment, then at the pool you can have 4 guests.
That's
And
probably a good idea.
What do you think? I
So,
mean,
so, yeah,
You don't want a big party down there, that's A.
No, that's true, yeah.
so limit to what?
I don't know whether 4 guests is right, but doesn't sound like a bad number. Limited to max of 4 guests.
Limited to me. Or there.
Well,
You need a
I mean,
mechanism.
I think ultimately you've got to determine what the marina is set up to do right now. And in my opinion, the marina is not set up in a hospitality capacity. That's why we're all voting for no living boards right now. I think we're asking for trouble if we say, if the council comes back and says, no, we're gonna have live boards, we don't care about your recommendation, which I kind of get that feeling is gonna happen. But at least have some limitations to guests to where I've got a live board and the guy says, I love to party. I don't have any guns. I pay my rent on time, but I've got 10 people out here every weekend.
yes.
Again,
Is that what you used to do?
no, I'm gonna tell you,
I
you
did.
know, I mean, I'll tell you this, is it's coming, you know, with a little bit of history in the hospitality business and having a couple of RV parks. Is that if you don't make it restrictive, then you're gonna continue to have problems because people are gonna push the rules and push the rules and push the rules. And then all it becomes is a problem for all the other occupants at your facility. You know, and I mean, again, places that, you know, this past 2 weeks ago, it was 2 guests per person on the lease. You know, and that wasn't a cheap place.
So just for my clarification, because I know like in down in Rockport, I think it was, they allow, they say no liver boards more than, they're allowed 10 days a month, which I believe they're trying to make it to where if somebody come down each weekend, they could do it. So if we say no liver boards, if somebody, you know, has a boat and they want to come down for July 4th weekend, and spend the weekend, we're saying they can't do that.
They're not a leasing. A, they are
They
A.
lease a, I mean, they lease boats, they have a boat here. And they're coming, you know, they maybe they live in Houston or I don't know where they're at, but they come in, because it's like that one, I think that one family was coming. Like over.
And they have a pretty good sized boat. They'll
They
have
have
at
their
least 4
grandkids and
at least
family
4
comes, yeah.
Maybe we'll limit it to 6. Or maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying, do we want to word it to where those kind of situations would be allowed? Yeah, I mean, you can't live there all the time, but you are allowed for a certain number on a month to account for that type of activity.
You know, they wouldn't, and, you know. I mean, I think it'd be all defining liveaboard is what does that mean?
Right.
Because you can't have liveaboards. No, period. If they come here temporary in park and then stay there a few days, we're not gonna mess with it.
Yeah, that, you're right.
Make it as a- get rid of them.
Define that. So what are they allowed to? Like I said, in Rockport,
They're allowed
they
to do
can
it. That's
stay
what you
10
do.
days a month. They can stay on the boat at night, 10 days a month.
You know, I could,
That's not liveaboard.
Well, I know.
That's not liveaboard. And I, you know, you.
Define it. So how do we define it? So is somebody allowed to, you know, stay 20 days a month? You know,
The answer is no.
Okay, so where they're allowed, where is that magic number? That's, what are we allowing?
There is no magic number. The magic number is 0.
Okay,
If it's temporary, like you come a boat, come and visit, on top of your dock, they're gonna be able to stay there a few days.
Okay, so.
I guess
Yeah.
what Jody's saying is that we have to define temporary.
Yes.
Okay,
And
that's reasonable. That's
and are
reasonable.
we saying that somebody that is paying rent and lease to store their boat here, they're not allowed to come use it at any time?
They're not living aboard. They come down and spend a weekend. That's not livable.
Okay, well, we need to define that. I mean, you know.
Once you define it, you define a rule that can be broken.
It could be free, but they're not temporary because they're not here and leasing. I mean, their boats stay. So, yeah, we need to define all that,
Okay.
because I don't want that left up to Jim, because we want to be consistent.
Okay, so definition on what's permanent versus temporary, and then definition on or a limit on number of days and then number of guests is what we're gonna have.
Yes,
brainstorm about. Okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. Go down there to 21. We just added to keep the lease staff neat, clean it all times. Added that in there. We did have little problems with that currently.
You really have that problem now?
Sorry,
You really have that problem now?
1 or 2.
The CAD has picked that up and has hacked them? Really? Good for them.
See, the word loud is misspelled. That's not loud.
Oh, that's true.
Load music. That's, you have it.
That sound good.
Okay, yeah. Leasing must be courteous, no loud music or vulgar language will be tolerated. Okay. 26. Actually, we're already doing this. We kind of talked to Jody about it, Lacey agrees on signing of the lease, the amount of 2 months rent to be applied toward the first and last rental months. This sum is the security deposit side. So we've been doing that now for probably 3 months. Let's see, and then of course, 27, same thing there as well, with the auto debit program. It's worked out. We do have, I think, 1 to 10 that would have a problem tracking down.
Then will they check in? We're running what's the process? They check in, I want to run a slip. What do I have to do? Fill out an application? Is a background check or a credit check written or anything like that? Or
No, we don't do that currently.
Okay. Is a deposit required?
There is now, there has been for about 3 months now.
Okay, how big of a deposit's required?
Well.
2 months, first and last month.
Whatever.
First and last month?
Yeah.
Do we require any type of proof of insurance?
Yes.
Okay, good, okay.
It says in here someplace, it's in here someplace, the insurance.
On page 67.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. It tells, they gotta have, at least 300,000 on for liability.
Okay,
And also they've got to be licensed by the state.
License registered. That's where I was kind of going. On page 6, 7 at the bottom.
Yeah.
It says, please note property tax on lease. Do we have a mechanism in place? Or does the state capture, does the county capture those? Because we've had boats that have been down here for several years.
See, we just started this last year, Jody,
Yeah.
and now there's been a lot of questions asked about it. I really didn't even know what it was about. One of the tenants mentioned something to me and I said, well,
Yeah, the appraisal district is sending them a tax statement for the value of their lease.
it's the value of their lease, yes.
Just so we thought we'd
Value of
hear
what?
what they're signing, so they know that they can't.
It's not the value of the vessel, it's the value of the lease.
So, yes, value of the lease.
do we have any mechanism in place that ensures they're dumping their tanks properly? Or we just take them at their word and then,
Take them at their word.
and my second question is, has the city ever, would we routinely take water samples from the marina just to check bacteria levels?
No.
I mean, I would recommend that it wouldn't, just to get a benchmark, just to see if we have a problem in that marina. To take a couple of water samples and just to see if we do have a bacteria problem there. Just because, the city of Corpus Christi and Emery found themselves in a really bad lawsuit.
Exactly.
When a kid jumped in the water and people were dumping their tanks and the bacteria shot the kid's nose and killed him with like a 24.
We have an issue because we do have some storm sewers that overflow and drain into our marina and our harbor. There's a myriad of discharged stormwater sewers all along our seawall and in different areas.
Okay.
And some of them do put out effluent. Yes, sir.
Okay.
To get a baseline would be virtually.
My next question is, if we know that, do we have signs up telling people,
Don't jump in the water.
don't jump in the water?
Don't jump in the water.
There is no
Testing signs, but not swimming.
Yeah.
Actually, we put swimming signs up because most of these marinas, even around these old
Yeah.
cement bulkheads, is always straight current.
Yeah,
And actually, we've had times that it was more than just straight current, and so we put signs up, don't swim in this type.
don't eat what you catch. Okay.
We have a motion to let Jim move forward with these,
Guess I did one more pass on this.
Well, I was prepared to take it to council on the 13th, but we can.
I'd say have that.
Can I ask you a question?
Hey, council, let's get it on the path.
It's just
You make a
the count, like,
motion to
that was
council.
transient traveling,
Council.
and I wanted to stay there for
Okay.
more than 10 days. Does that affect that?
we have,
Oh, transient.
That would be a different thing.
Yeah.
Different?
we have a motion to, make these changes to council approval. Do I have a second?
But then, but
got a
yeah,
question.
you need to define that.
Yeah, you had a question.
I've been fine.
Trans-
I'm sorry.
Why?
I
made them temporary.
It's fine, but,
Temporary.
Living on your boat. I mean, if I'm transient, I'm living on my boat.
Yep, you gotta sign the tape before you agree on what they define, how they
I
define it.
guess what we would do really. Is.
And we do need, unless they're. I mean, I think they're prepared to put some limitations, at least on it.
I would submit it to council as presented. We can come back and adjust it just like we have everything else when necessary, leases or otherwise. Just get it approved, get this in motion.
You have a second to your
You wanna
motion?
Put the other language in there.
I'm sorry, sir.
Language. Define no liver boards.
Well, again, let's go ahead and move forward with it as is. We can take our time and define the liverboards and the temporaries and all that in the future and then insert it into the existing presentation that we just made today. We have a motion for Mike to move it to council and Sue has got a second on it.
That, is it time for a question?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. That seems weird to me because this is a big issue. It seems like liverboards, no liverboards. How many people can be here for a weekend? Whatever, and none of that's been defined. We saw the lease says.
I'm okay with the 10 days or less being transient in nature.
Right.
I think that'd be a good definition of transient, 10 days or less per month.
The lease says firearms.
Yeah, well, we're gonna take that out.
It says, like I said, take that out.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what is he gonna present? This? He's gonna present this several items we don't agree with. And so why are we presenting it just to hurry it up? Why don't we fix it before?
Because we never get anything done, Larry.
I mean, and then if the council says we can have liverboards and we say no liverboards, doesn't the council rule, not us?
Oh, absolutely.
So why are we gonna say?
I'm fine with the 10 days or less. I think that's a good transient definition of transient. Now we just have to focus on number of guests per.
Yeah.
Per personal lease, and I'm okay with two. That way we have two people down there, then, and they theoretically could have two couples out there for dinner.
Take their boat out, boat and come back.
What is the rule at the RV park down there?
I don't think we have a rule on guests, to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing that at all.
People live down there though, right?
Yes. Now, I mean, living there, you can, just certain spots you can stay up to 6 months, but then you have to move out 2 weeks before you come back. So you can't live there forever. You can live there for 6 months. And then if you want to come back, you've got to be off for 2 weeks and then come back. That was 6 months. Rather, I mean, it's just 1 month, I'd rather make sure we got it right. And be done with it.
We'll promise we'll come back with an approval. This, and next time, I'm okay with withdrawing my motion. Just want to get this on down the road.
On that second also.
Back, give you guys a chance to, we can email my.
It was my understanding you wanted to take it to council though.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna take it to council, but what my was planning on going to council was with this and then telling them no liverboards. But in our discussions, it's not necessarily that black and white.
So now we're
Give
saying
them spots to.
10 days.
10 days.
10 days and 2 guests per lease fee
Yeah.
and
So.
take the firearm things out.
And the firearm, is that gospel, Mike? I'm not
That is
a
absolute
gun,
gospel.
so I
As a
don't
matter of
know.
fact, it's criminal on the behalf of the city person who does it.
We have to strike 6 then.
Okay, I think we strike 6, 10 days and
I don't know.
Yes, for blocking people who are living
release.
We're gonna add those things that he's saying, and if y'all wanna roll, I'm ready to roll. I just wanna roll with.
Was following Jody's lead. We'll strike 6. Liverboards is temporary is no more than 10 days a month.
Okay.
And 2 guests per leasee.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
I had 5 on my, and we would stay there 2 to 3 weeks in the summertime.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting.
The presentation that we have received has been adjusted and modified. I need a motion on
I
that.
have a copy of these rules,
So moved.
Yeah.
You know,
Put that-
Okay.
just incorporate a little bit of, on the other document.
Okay, so just to clarify. He's making first and a second
Larry has made a motion.
with stipulations of,
Yeah, the changes. Yeah,
and then the takeout number 6, that's all.
yeah.
No clarification on the other liverboards or anything.
Well, no, it's we remove item number 6.
We'll do it.
We just,
I'm just making sure, initially y'all mentioned defining. We're
Right.
not, we're gonna, I mean, we're just saying the 10 days, 10 guests per lessee, take out number 6, that's all.
Yes.
yes.
All number, so, and I'm asking because I honestly don't know. So the law does protect air guns, bows and arrow slingshots and spear guns.
I don't know about that, but it sure does protect concealed carry.
Do we want to keep the other in there and just, or, again,
Just remove firearms.
Yeah.
Well, but
Yeah, check with him, read and see what's that's for.
Now, let me ask this question, what are we going to do about current? We have that one tenant there now, that's,
We're not gonna make any exceptions.
well, I mean,
That's what I would say. I'm not, anybody else wants to quote.
when I'm not on the weekend, when the storm blows in and goes, I mean, there's not many there to take care of any of that.
It's you and me, isn't it?
You mean your tenants won't come in and remove their boats? I used to do that, man. I know, but they didn't want to lose it.
Okay, we have a motion by Larry to accept the amended presentation and a second by Ms. Trailer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We have 1 nay from James.
I don't mean to.
It's okay.
Ruffle feathers.
It's okay.
I just don't agree with the liverboard stuff and the limitations on what I can do with my boat when it's there.
Yeah.
Well, I think the bottom line, we're not prepared to take care of liverboards. We can't provide the security.
The liverboard factor is the factor of where we're at, where this marina is located. And the amount of time and amount of effort it takes to get here,
Yeah.
it's not an easy place to get to. And I think we're gonna limit that. That's my only concern. So that's why the transient dock's not full. There's no transient gonna spend a full day getting here and a full day leaving here.
Yeah, that's right. We're way up there.
Anyway, that's why
If it doesn't
Thank you
work,
for
we'll
your
come back.
input and participation.
If it doesn't work, we
Appreciate
come back.
We're gonna move on then to agenda item 8. It's comment from commissioners. Start with you, Mr. Chair.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So,
Thank you.
happy Thanksgiving.
We have two happy Thanksgiving, James.
Third happy Thanksgiving.
You know.
I'm gonna ask one quick question. Item and I understand it was discussed at council. The item with regard to the recovery of our expenses from Helena and their lease.
What is the question?
In their lease, it says they will cover 100% of the expenses associated with the railroad.
Yes, that was discussed at council.
And then,
And the council decided to go ahead, and it was kind of discussed here, that maybe, we go in, they already had $300,000 budgeted, so they would keep that. As a good faith effort.
Helena's gonna have to pay the rest, maybe, and
they can walk it.
Yeah, I mean, they're either gonna pay the rest, or we can wait for the grant.
You know, from a business perspective, it doesn't make any sense for them to do that. So then we will get a grant. You're gonna do the work.
We're processing it from several
Never
different
mind.
directions. Trying to get, that's the point. I just didn't want to lose the spur, and Jody has reassured me that we're making all efforts. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm very good.
I have a motion to adjourn by Mike McGuire.
Also, good.
James says that he has a second that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. O'Neill, thank you so much for your participation, and never hesitate to speak up. You notice I don't, so.
They're with you that way.
Yeah.